Hi everyone, Stepan here. Today is the last day of my challenge to reach 2100 on Lichess Classical. Yesterday went well, but today I still have 39 more points to go until midnight Croatian today, so 12 more hours. And let's get the game in. Create a game, 15 plus 15, rated, 2050 the lowest rating, and random side. Let's hope I can get the game, and let's hope it goes well. Now, according to my calculation, I need around 5 more games, which I win, to reach 2100. If I lose 1, then that's 7 games. If I lose 2, then that could be 9 games. So it could be 12 hours of playing. I am going to try to record every game, but if things start to go badly, then I'll stop recording and just play, because recording while playing makes playing harder, obviously. And yeah. So okay, I don't want to go random pairings, because yesterday I got a 1700 player in the first game, and I want to only play higher rated people if possible. So I'm going to wait a bit. Drinking black tea, finished my workout. I actually went to the park and had an hour-long training session, body weight, and then I went for a run as well. So I'm prepared and had more than 8 hours of sleep, which is rare for me. I wanted to get enough sleep because today's games are going to be very important. And thank you all for the comments in the last videos. I didn't have time to respond to all of them because I went to bed early yesterday. And yeah, thank you for all the support and all the comments. Come on, give me a game. I don't want this to take too long. So 39 points, and I don't know. I've set this goal of 2100. It's not high in like, well, it's high for me because I don't have that much time to play, and I also try to. Okay, 2100 is my opponent, and I'm white. Good for the first game. I'll stop talking about whatever I was talking about before I started the game. Okay, we have an Italian. Yesterday I missed bishop takes f7, which was horrible. So now, do I go for the Deutsch gambit, or do I go for something more normal? I don't think I want to risk anything today, so I'm not going to go for castling. I'll just go for a normal Gioco piano with c3. And my opponent says, good luck on your 2100 quest. Well, thank you. Thank you. Okay, this is fun. Okay, knight f6, d3. So he's playing against me and he says good luck on your quest. So d6, now castles is normal. Knight a5 still doesn't work because I have bishop check, bishop here, and bishop here. So now I should get my bishop to b3 in anticipation of knight a5. Okay, rook e1 or h3. h3 first. I want to stop bishop g4. Rook e1. I'll play fast because I know the opening, and if you want more info on the Gioco piano, I've made a theoretical video on this, and you can watch it on the channel. There's a lot of stuff going on here, and now he's transferring his knight into f5 if I allow that, so I'll do the same thing. Now we got our knights in the Italian/Spanish position. He's going for d5, so is it time for me to go d4 now? Now I have to start thinking. Now the difference in the position is that my bishop is on b3 and his bishop is on a7. So if he goes bishop e6, I don't have to take because he doesn't double my pawns. And if I go bishop e3, he probably should take because I will get his rook to a7. But then again, if I take, his knight has the f4 square. Do I want to play d4? d4, e takes d4, c takes d4, rook e8, e5, d5, pawn e5, then he wins my pawn. What do I want to do here? Okay, bishop e3, rook e8, takes on a7 and d4. Seems normal to try and get some initiative in the center, so I'm going to play bishop e3. If he takes my bishop, I take with the f pawn to guard the f4 square. And to strengthen the d4 break. So now I'm the only one who can get his knight into the position. Now he's stopping d4, which makes sense, but with that there's a maneuver of bishop c2 guarding the e4 pawn, so now I am able to play bishop c2 and d4. Should I do that immediately? That's the question. Bishop c2, d4. If I play bishop c2, he can play c5. Bishop c2, c5, d4, c takes d4, e takes d4. If e takes d4, I have c takes d4. Okay, so he can play queen b6, but I can play b4. Okay, I'm going to play bishop c2. And also, if I play d4 and he plays c5, if I ever take with the e pawn, he still gets knight f4. So I should be a bit careful. We are playing a very thematic opening, and I may even consider after c5 going a3 b4. So I'll probably continue with queen d2 and rook d1, just to get my pieces into the center first. Maybe getting my bishop away from b3 was a mistake. Now, what happens here? This is a committal move, and it's committal because I can play d4 now. If I play d4, I have enough defenders. d4, e takes d4, e takes d4. Knight f4 is not really a threat because I have e5. d4, if he does nothing, I'm threatening to... Well, I'm not threatening anything. I'm threatening to take on d4 and take on g6 if he is not careful. I can also take on d5, c takes d5, e4, takes, pawn takes would block my bishop. So I think d4 has to be correct here. Everything is defended sufficiently. So d4, if he takes on e4, knight takes e4, knight takes e4, bishop e4, he has f5, he has f5, then I need to bring my bishop back. So d4, de4, knight e4, bishop e4, f5 is annoying. He doesn't have f4, but the pawn on f5 is really not where I want his pawns to be. But then again, I can play bishop back to c2. Okay, d4, d4, de4, knight e4, knight e4, bishop e4, f5, bishop c2. If e5, I play knight d4, and then he can play c6. If c6, bishop b3 check, is that useful? No. I should keep my bishop on c2. Okay, let's once again look at d takes e, e takes d, and e4. E takes d4, c takes d4, e4. Gives away the f4 square. So that's not something I want to do. If I play d4 and he takes on d4, I take with the c pawn. I'm taking a long time here because this is a key position. d4, d takes e4, knight takes e4, bishop takes e4, f5, d4. What if e takes d? I take with the c pawn or I take with the knight? I take with the c pawn. And then he has too much pressure on my e4 pawn. Okay, d4, e takes d4. I have to take with the e pawn. Then he has knight f5. But do I really want to allow this move f5? d4, d4, knight e4, knight e4, bishop e4, f5. Bishop c2. Okay, I'm going to play d4. I think d4 is correct. I have to say this is the most serious game I've had in the last few days. And this is something that could easily happen in a tournament game, and decisions like this are what where I spend tons of time. So last Italian I played in a tournament game. I got into time trouble almost, and and it was because of tension in the center. So this works because my rook is defending the e file. So if he takes, takes and takes here, I can still take because my rook is defending the bishop. Yeah, now it's his time to think. Now even knight f5 is a good move, because if bishop f5, ef5 misplaces the knight, and I'm not too unhappy to have my pawn on f5. Okay, he takes here, that's what I expected. And he will probably go for f5. Yeah, and now bishop c2 was my calculation. Now if he ever plays e4, then I'm really happy, because I get to challenge the f5 square, and he closes down the center with my pawns being very far advanced and him having a sort of weak f5 pawn. And my knight can easily read out, so it's not such a big deal. Yeah, I don't think e4 is a good move, to be honest. I wish my king was on h1, because then I could go knight g1, knight e2, knight f5, knight f4, I'm sorry. But now I have to change strategies if he plays e4. And I'm going to play... Okay, he plays it. So knight h2 or knight d2. Okay, check here first. My bishop is no longer good on the diagonal. Okay, and now I think I'm going to play knight h2. Knight d2 doesn't seem to have too many prospects. Knight h2 seems better. Going here. And also defending the king side a bit. I could consider bishop f7 also. Bishop f7. Okay, bishop f7, pawn takes f3, bishop takes rook. No, that would be too unsafe. Bishop f7, pawn f3, queen f3, rook e6. Bishop f7, the rook, the knight moves. Okay, bishop f7, pawn f3. Yeah, it doesn't work. But I am still threatening bishop f7 after I move my knight. I could also consider knight e5. Knight e5, knight e5, d5. He takes my queen. I take his queen. He takes on e5. And I have rook d8. Check. Maybe that's better after bishop f7. So knight e5, knight e5, d5. He cannot play rook e5 because his queen is hanging. But rook d1, rook ad1 threatens to win the queen, so the e5 pawn is immune. But he can just develop his bishop to e6, and then I'm in trouble. Although I can play bishop takes e6, rook takes e6, rook d7, then he would go rook d8. Yeah, and that would be a pawn down. I don't like backing down. I don't like moving my knight back. Bishop f7, ef3, bishop g6, fg2. What do I do there? Oh, he cannot take fg2 because he takes the rook. So bishop f7, ef3, bishop g6, rook e6 is not possible because bishop f5. Bishop f7, ef3, bishop g6, rook moves. Yeah, okay, bishop f7, ef3, bishop g6, his rook is attacked. If rook e6, I play bishop f5. If fg2, I take the rook. Okay, I'm going to play bishop f7 because I'm wasting too much time. And I hope it works. Because if I can get rid of this pawn, then my position gets all of a sudden much better. So if he takes here, I take here, and he moves the rook, I take queen f3, and I have this weakness to poke, I have e4, and my position is all of a sudden very good. Yeah, I completely missed the fact that after bishop f7, ef3, bishop g6, he cannot take on g2. He has to move the rook still. I'm much lower on time. I need to speed up. This is move 21 and I wasted 10 minutes already. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm struggling to, well, this is why the training games come in handy. I'm struggling to play these positions with little time on the clock because I've never played rapid chess. And I count this as sort of rapid, 15 minutes. I've never played that. And then it's hard for me to get this in-between mindset of you have to think and calculate, but not think about the position too much. Okay. He can check me on f2, but and then check with the queen on h4, but I don't think that's anything special. Yeah. Okay. Now queen h4 would actually be a mistake because I can play g3 and then I win his rook. So he still has to move the rook away. And I think I've accomplished a lot. Now my bishop is coming back to f3 to guard the position and I have it on the best diagonal. I'm playing e4 and yeah, okay, he defends there. Ooh, bishop h5 is a horrible mistake. Oh no, my queen is defending it. It's not a mistake. Why would it be a mistake? Bishop h5, queen h4 check, king g2, f4, e4. Yeah, it works. It works. My queen is defending the bishop. So I'm a pawn up here, and I think my king is just as unsafe as his, and I think I played well. I think the fact that I won his e5 pawn, which was the most annoying pawn in the position with this move bishop f7, was really good. Maybe he should have used more time. I'm not sure if there was anything for me there, but I think if he'd used more time, he would have found something better. I don't think... first of all, I think the rook is more useful on e7 than on f8, because with my bishop, queen, and pawn and king guarding f3, f4 is never really serious, and I'm never taking, obviously. I'm just going to play e4 and have a very strong passed pawn. So I think that he should have spent a bit more time thinking. But I mean, this is still far from anything clear, because one pawn up in such a dangerous position means nothing. Both our kings are open. We both have a bishop and a queen, which is enough for trouble, but bishop, queen, and two rooks means that a pawn is insignificant for now. If I could trade off the queens, then we are talking, but have to try to trade them. And they still have... I'm 5 minutes down on the clock. So, not a good situation to be in. I'm a pawn up, but for 5 minutes, I'm not sure which side I would rather be. White is better, definitely, but it's far from anything over or even significant, I think. Especially with him being able to complicate stuff with g5, g4, and just running me over. Have to be extra careful. That's why I thought his rook would be more useful on e7. Okay, let's just retreat my bishop. I'm happy that he cannot play g5 now, because he played queen g5. My next move is going to be e4. Probably immediately, maybe king g1 first, but I have to be careful if I play king g1 that he has bishop h3. Oh, f4. Now I'm very satisfied with his position, because I'm never going to take, I'm just going to play e4, and I have a passer which is strong. And this is what happened in my game against Bojan Medak at the FIDE Master. He had a chance to open up my king position. My king was on e2, not on f2. He had a pawn on f5, but yeah, he could have taken on e4 or played... I don't remember, but anyway, this was the position. His pawn was on f4 and my pawn got on e4, and then my king was perfectly safe. So now his pawn actually serves as a shield for my position, and you can see that playing g4 isn't such a strong move. Well, what's wrong with d5 now? Yeah, I just played d5. It's not hanging for rook d8 because I always have c4. Now my passed pawn is really dangerous, extremely dangerous. He gave me a tempo by playing bishop e6. I mean, I understand it was tough to develop the bishop somewhere, but maybe he should go bishop f7, bishop h5, in case I move my queen. But now c4 is coming, and my pawns are going forward. Now I would say my position is easier to play and could be close to winning. Still doesn't mean anything in my case, of course, or in anyone's case. White could still mess this up horribly, but... the extra pawn is now the d5 pawn, 3 squares away from queening, which is very dangerous. And I have the open e-file to play with. I have the d4 square for my queen, which is also very, very significant. And he wants to get on this diagonal, I would assume. So yeah, let's just play queen d4, centralize nicely, connect my rooks. No need to rush this position. I just need to improve all of my pieces and then try to attack or queen my pawn. Both are possible, because now if he moves his queen from this from the defense of g7, rook e7 is already a very strong threat. Now my plan is simple, just rook e2, rook a e1, rook e7, and the game should be winning. I don't think queen h4 is significant in any way, especially now that I've stopped g5. So I think queen d4 is a good move. In positions like this, with a lot of major pieces on the board, in my experience, improving your pieces is the best thing to do. I've also played queen d4 because okay, so if I take, he definitely wins my bishop, but I don't think this move was significant in any way. Rook e5 is a move where he could play queen h4 check, that's true. Okay, I need to take my time. I cannot take because queen g6, queen g3 check, king e2, rook e8 check, and I lose my bishop. Although bishop e4 could be defending, but then I give him 3 passed pawns, which is very scary. Yeah, I don't want to take. That's too much complications. Rook e5, queen h4 check, so I'm not really doing anything with tempo. Although then I am threatening to play rook h5. Okay, rook e5 is going to be my move. Rook e5, queen h4 check or queen g3 check, king f1. He doesn't have anything there, so I don't want to take the bishop. That seems like way too much trouble. The other idea is if I can get my rook into h5, I'm threatening rook takes h6 because the pawn is pinned. Okay. King f1. Otherwise my bishop is hanging. Oh, my bishop is hanging now. Oh. I just blundered the bishop. He should just take on g2 with the bishop now. I don't know what to do now. This game is obviously lost. I have to keep trying and playing. It was such a good game, and I missed something so simple. Okay, let's not get discouraged. Let's play. Okay, still, if I lose this game, I'm going to lose maximum 10 points. Then I have 49 points to go, and let's focus. I have a strong pawn on d6, on d5, and I had a winning position, and now I'm losing. But maybe things can turn around again. Okay. Let's try to complicate things as much as possible. Any perpetual is good for me. I earn rating points. Any draw would be perfect. This is what I was counting on. So now, let's do this. Okay. Now his bishop is blocked in. And what do I do? What do I do? I cannot play rook here because of check. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, it's lost, but maybe I shouldn't be wasting time on positions like this, but I think I had a great game before I blundered. And this was such a stupid threat, which not a stupid threat, but a stupid blunder. And that's my problem. I see it as soon as I blunder it. For some reason, not before, regardless of how much time I have. Yeah, why wouldn't he trade rooks? As I said, I cannot play rook here. I have to... I don't know what I'm doing. There's nothing I can do. This was probably the best try, just to try to complicate things. Check there, yeah, now he has a check on e3. That's very nice, yes. King g1 only move. And now just f3, f2 check, checkmate. Yeah, resigns, good game. Good game, okay. I'm going to rematch this guy if he wants to play another game. I'll analyze the games afterwards. Okay, now I need to forget about the last game. Okay, nothing happened, first game of the day. And we have a lovely Caro-Kann. Panov. Let's see what he does. He plays bishop g5. Okay, I play positions with dc and e6 to isolate his pawn. That's what I usually play. Okay, so now bishop e7 is normal. And my next plan is a6, b5, bishop b7, castles in some order. He says, I only know the endgame lines. Well, I'll give him a smiley face. I don't know what to say. Okay, yeah, I think this is perfect training for the tournament, because that's just blundering a pawn, my friend. Isn't it? I think it is. He doesn't have rook d1 because I'm threatening his queen with check. Now he says, okay, I see how it is. I don't know what that means. He's a nice guy. I'm happy to play him multiple games. I mean, he plays well. He didn't stop thinking when he was worse. He taught from the start of the game. He knows opening theory, and I enjoyed the game with him. I'm happy to blunder against somebody nice, I have to say that. Now he blundered against me, but I blundered the bishop, so not even yet. $47 points to go. Okay, I only lost 8. That's fine. When I win this game, it's going to be less. I will have earned some points. Okay, what's the most normal move here? I want to say queen b6, but then it's really hard to develop my bishop. So maybe queen c5 is better. I mean, everything allows bishop e3 or bishop f4. So maybe queen g4, but then f3. Queen f5, bishop d3, queen a5. No, I think queen g4 loses a bishop. Almost did it again. Queen c5 seems more sensible for what I'm trying to do. It also attacks the bishop, so the bishop should probably go to e3. Okay. And then bishop e3, just queen c7. I don't want to block a6, b5, because then my bishop is dead. He should probably play bishop e3. I mean, what else can he do? I don't know. Bishop e3 seems like the most sensible move to me. I don't see... I mean, his bishop is attacked and he has to move it, so why not move it with tempo? He can try knight e4, knight e4, knight e4, bishop e7, rook e8. No, knight e4, bishop e7 I take with the queen on e7. So it's just a trade. It's a bunch of trades because my queen is defending the bishop. So okay, I think I have to take on e4 and he takes my bishop and I take his bishop. And it's Zwischenzug. No, not really. He's making it harder for me to develop my bishop, but probably just rook b8 now should be okay. Rook b8 going for b5. Because he also has bishop d5 now. I cannot take because my queen is hanging. Rook b8, if he attacks my rook, then I have bishop d7. Rook b8, if bishop d5, I have something like queen c5. No, queen c7. Rook b8, bishop d5, queen c7. Rook b8, queen f4, bishop d7. Rook b8, queen d4 or e3, I play b6. Rook b8, bishop d3, g6, I want to play g6 anyway. I don't think there's a problem with my idea. So I'm just going to play it. It's not the best looking move, but serves the purpose. And also with bishop d5, I can play bishop d7. If he takes on b7, I have bishop b5 attacking the rook and double attacking the bishop. Let's concentrate. Nothing happened in the last game. Last game doesn't exist. His pieces are more active, but I only need a couple of moves to activate mine. Okay, g6. I want to play quickly this time. I don't want to get into time trouble. Okay, he did attack my rook. So bishop d7 should be okay. Bishop d7 works. Now if he plays bishop e4, I might even play bishop c6 and just go for the pressure along the b file. Or I could go bishop b5. When it's bishops of the same color, there's one rule that is written in all the books. I still need to find proof for that in positions in which kings are safe, but the rule says that whoever is attacking is better, because the defender's bishop doesn't have time to be a good counterpart. But in positions like this, when there's pawn on both sides of the board, when kings are safe, I don't really see that working, that rule. Yeah, now this should be equal if I didn't have an extra pawn. With an extra pawn, as soon as I get my bishop out, I'm just a pawn up, and it's a clean pawn up. And unlike the other position, there's nothing going on here. I mean, I'm guessing he can try h4, h5, but I would say that's slow and doesn't really do that much. And also, if he doesn't play h4, my bishop on c6 will be the best piece on the board, better than the rooks. If he tries something like queen e3, I'm still playing bishop c6, queen a7, rook a8, I win a2. But what's my plan? Okay, I have an extra pawn on the king side, which isn't that easy to utilize, and this looks a lot like high-level draws, where one side is a pawn up, then you trade everything off into a rook and pawn ending, and 4 against 3 on the king side is usually a draw. So I'm going to try to complicate matters before that happens. I don't want to draw here. So the first thing is, don't trade pieces. Even though you are material up, because this is likely to end in a draw. If I had an extra pawn here, so give me a pawn on c7 instead of this one, then it's a whole different story. But here, okay, I mean, when two good players are playing, this is a two-result game. When we are playing, it's anything can happen. What day is it today? Monday. So feels good to be ahead on the clock. I don't know, if I'm him, I'm playing bishop e4 instantly. I don't know what he's trying to figure out, but if he plays h4, h4, bishop c6, h5, e5, queen moves e4, maybe. Okay, he did play h4. Okay, bishop c6, h5, e5. The queen has to keep guard over well, how does he defend the h4 pawn? Does he really play queen g3? Maybe I should play h5. I don't want to play e5 because then his bishop is much better than it is now. And h5 would fix the weakness, because h4 is a weakness. h5, if he tries g4, then I take the pawn. So I like h5. If he tries to play f3, how useful is the check on c5? Don't know. If he tries to play for f3, g4, I can still take the pawn. So h5 cannot be a useless move. He has queen g3 there, but I'm just going to play queen f6 to guard everything. h5. He says that's an I have no plans, so h4, I guess. h4, I agree. Okay, h5 allows queen here, but then I have queen f6, so yeah, okay. I don't want to allow h5 from him, and I don't think he has time for any g4 stuff. And I still have ideas of e5. There's the fly in my apartment. Ah. Now he has a permanent weakness he needs to look after. Unless he wants to play g3, which is entirely different to my g6, because g3 is on a dark square and I have a light squared bishop, so that could be deadly. So he doesn't have an easy time defending h4. That's why I think h4 is a mistake. Whereas if I were playing the move h5, that wouldn't be as dangerous because it's on a light square. So it's the move h5 is also reducing the scope of his bishop. And I'll try to remember the rule from one of yesterday's games, where when I almost got defeated in an opposite colored bishop ending the day before yesterday. When your opponent has a light squared bishop, keep your stuff on dark squares. So for now, only my king needs to go to g7 and everything is defended. That way you allow no tricks. You want your pawns on the color of his bishop, when there's a lot of pawns on the board to reduce its scope, and your pieces on the opposite side. I have to try. It's not a fly, it's actually a wasp or something like that. Okay, get out. Okay, I got it out. Okay, that's a normal move. Now bishop c6 is a normal move. Is she threatening anything? I really want to be careful. Should I go king g7, queen f6 first? then my bishop is hanging on d7. So, okay, bishop c6 first. Should be a good move. Not allowing any messy things to happen with my bishop. It's the best square for the bishop. And king g7, queen f6 next, offering a queen trade, attacking 2 pawns. He has to accept. And when we trade queens, I should be better, without any issues on the dark squares, because his bishop is much worse than mine. He cannot play queen e5 now, because I'm just going to take on h4. And I don't think rook e6, f6, queen e6 check works. Or maybe it does work. I have king h8. And my queen is guarding the f6 square, so it probably shouldn't work. He's down to 5 minutes, so he might get in time trouble in the endgame I mentioned, where I have a 4-3 on the king side. I'm sorry about this, some people are doing some construction work. I don't know if you can hear that. I can close the window. And that way also make sure that no flies come in, or wasps, or whatever. I don't know what he's trying to calculate. If I were him, I would play quickly, because he is now on 4 minutes. We do have a 15-second increment, but that's still fairly low on time. I have 3 times as much. And it's still not over. So maybe I don't want to trade the queens off, since the position just got really complicated. Well, that's a lot of time for such a move. Okay, king g7 still makes sense. Continue with my plan. I'm blundering a pawn. No, I'm not. Okay, I didn't miscalculate. Queen d4 check, queen f6, queen takes a7, queen takes b2. Or h4. Which pawn do I take? Do I want to give him a pawn majority, or do I want to have a 4-2 on the king side? That's the question. If I keep the queens on the board, then I want to take the h4 pawn, because I get the g5 square for my queen. So I think if he takes on a7, I'm going to take on h4 and try to attack his king. Okay, he defends that, so now I'm going to offer a trade of queens and go for the endgame. He could play queen d2 or queen c1. I think he shouldn't, because then my queen is much better than his, and I'm also going to play queen f3 and just checkmate him. Or win his bishop. So he cannot retreat the queen. And now also when he takes, my king is way more active than his. He does that. That's interesting. I don't know what to say about that. So I'm going to take, because a structural weakness is too much for him to handle, I think. He wants to play b5, but I have bishop d5. I'm still going to play a6, I think. a6, a4, bishop takes, a6, b5, pawn takes. So okay, a6, stop b5 for the moment. Everything is on a dark square, that's perfect, and pawns are on light squares, that's also perfect. Everything is defended. Like, from a classical standpoint, this position should be ideal for black. Absolutely no problems. And no tactical tricks. Now I'm threatening bishop f3, rook d2, and bishop, well, not bishop e4 for the moment, but I can also just play rook d5 and double. Now I do want to allow him to trade off the rooks, because this pawn structure is just lost. I mean, there's no way for him to defend. His king has the dark squares, but that's not enough. And there's only one, because all of his pawns are on dark squares. So by putting his pawns on dark squares, as you can see, my bishop is way more active than his bishop. His bishop doesn't really have... His bishop only has 2 squares in the position, which are significant. Well, he can go back, but... Okay, he wants to trade everything off. That's good. I'm going to force matters with bishop a4. I just want to play quickly at this point. Takes, takes. If he plays bishop f3, I'm probably going to play rook to d7, to d2. Or maybe just b6. And go for his pawns. Okay, takes, takes, bishop f3. Or is that too risky? Okay, he does play bishop f3. Now just b6, and I'm threatening rook to d3 and rook to d2. I definitely don't want to give up this pawn. That much is clear. He doesn't have a good infiltration point. Oh, that's a very risky move. Oh, but he has rook e3. Okay, he has rook e3. And I don't want to undouble his pawns. He does have rook e3. Okay, so let's get my king closer. I don't want to play rook d3 because he has rook e3. Okay, and now let's trade the bishops off. Does that trade the bishops off? No, it doesn't, because he has bishop b7. But then I can play a5. Okay, I have enough time. I need to concentrate. Oh, I see a good move. Rook d4 for king f5. Rook d4. He would have to play bishop e4. Otherwise, I play king f5. Yeah, I like rook d4. Rook d4 threatens king f5, and that would be a very good position for me. I would win another pawn and open up his position. Maybe I should have played bishop c2 first. to stop bishop e4. But if he plays bishop f4, bishop e4, I still am a pawn up and I have a more pleasant position. I don't think this is clearly winning, but it's winning with precise play. So I locked down his pawns on the queen side. I forced his rook to the e3 square, and he has no infiltration on c6, so my pawns are immune for the moment. Here he has to play bishop e4, or I'm playing king f5 and winning the pawn on f4. Okay, he resigns. Okay, thank you for the games. Good game, thank you for the games. He is a really nice guy. And I'm really happy to have played him. Okay, now let's look at this game and then at the other game. Okay, so this is not that winning. Okay, let's look at this. I mean, he blundered the pawn, but it was still close to equal, I guess, because it's hard to prove any advantage here with my bishops still stuck on c8. g6 is correct, bishop d7 is correct. It's an advantage, but it's not such a big advantage. -1. Wow, this game was extremely boring, I have to say. And he had to take my queen. I think he would have had more chances with the queens of the board. Okay, still a good game. Okay, now let's see the point situation. +3 points, which is good considering how the first game went, and let's analyze this one. I'm way more interested in this game. Okay, so let's look at the opening. As I said, this is very thematic and familiar, and bishop e3 is, well, a strange move according to the engine. Bishop c2 is way more common, and that I know, but this I thought was fine with my bishop on c2. Whoa, -1. How is this -1? Okay, here bishop b3 check, and bishop f7 was not good. Wow. Best move was 95, which I calculated. ef3, and I should take the rook. This engine is insane. If I take the knight, queen g5 checkmate. Queen g5 checkmate. I mean, wins a piece. Yeah, now all of a sudden I'm better. And I think here, yeah, I knew I was much better, but I messed it up. And yeah, just g takes h3 should be fine. Or rook e4, not rook e5. Rook e5 is a horrible blunder. But what's the difference? There is no difference. Or rook e5. What's the difference? Oh yeah, it's what? I don't understand. Why doesn't this work with rook e4? Ah, he has f3 here. Wow, okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, it wasn't such a good game, apparently. I was worse than I was better, and then I blundered. So, congratulations to Laser Blood 69. He played a great game, the first one. And the second one, well, he blundered the pawn. Okay, I didn't get far in the first session. 3 points up is better than being points down, so I'm happy to have recovered from the first game. See you a bit later on. I'm going to take a break now. I've decided to take a break after 2 games, and I think every video is going to be 2 games if I continue recording them. Thanks very much, guys. Stay tuned for more chess, and see you later today. Bye.